Alright, so now we're going to take a look at our S600 Series combine. This specific 680 is equipped with a 2630 on the armrest, so that's going to allow us to not only run our normal command center functions, but it's also going to allow us to run our GS3 functions. So the first thing we're going to look at is our combine setup. So from a combine setup standpoint, first thing we're going to look at is, we always remember, on the top right hand corner is going to be our combine main, which brings you to the combine main page. We'll have average and yield across the top, our combine settings in the middle, our current crop right here. At the bottom, you're going to see our grain tank position, whether we're unloading, and our harvest smart and ICA down here across the bottom. If we are harvesting, you also see the red light flashing that shows we're recording data. So the next button down is going to be our combine harvest information setup page. This is where we would swap from wet to dry as far as yield goes. And we're actually going to see our percent moisture. As far as changing the header setup, we do have to change that in our GreenStar Pro, and we'll cover that in just a moment. We go back to combine main. Next, we're going to our arrow pointing towards our dot, which is going to be our combine setup page. So from combine setup, the very first thing that we pop into is our crop setup. So we're currently set up as soybeans, and we're going to put the check mark in the box. We're going to synchronize that with what's going on inside of documentation. So when we do our documentation setup, that way the two things always stay together. For our threshing conditions, we're going to list them as normal for threshing and for straw. Other things important here is, this is where we set our grain loss calibration. Now, we can actually set grain loss calibration in a couple of different positions. This is usually the easiest one to get to. So we go combine main and then combine setup, which brings us here. At the bottom, you'll see our vision track settings. So what vision track does is tells us what kind of loss we have, whether that be coming through the shoe at the separator or through the chafer and the sieve at the rear of the machine. It's going to give us the balance between the two. Next thing we're going to look at are our actual combine settings, which will be the H button. So from here, by default, you're going to see we're being soybeans, and we're in the current default configuration. So the default configuration, what you're going to see is all of the blue. These are the particular set points. What's in black is where we're actually at right now. So if we turn the machine on and engage the thresher, once the separator and the header are engaged, at this point we can push accept on the bottom left hand corner, and what will happen is the settings will actually go to the individual set points. You'll see the numbers will be flashing as they try to go to the set point. And we'll speed the separator up. Alright, so if we do not reach a specified set point, what we'll see is where that number will stop. And what we're going to do is go back to our settings, and so we're looking at our different set point. So this tells us that there's something in the machine that we need to take a look at. Idle the machine back down. And disengage. One thing you have to remember is, if you want the machine to automatically set itself, we do have to have the separator and the header engaged and hit the accept button. Down here at the bottom, this will actually show the other machine configurations that we need. This will be the outside configurations: the drum position, feed accelerator, concave, spacer grates, active thrashings, and the chopper. And that kind of gets us through the combine setup.